Hello, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ellen Boyd. I am the author of the Toby Garrison Chronicles, a contemporary young adult drama suspense series, and this is my channel. Although I am an author, I should let you know that I am also a reader. I upload booktube videos every Wednesday and authortube videos every Friday. If you enjoy my content, I hope you'll consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. It's a completely free way for you to help support a small YouTuber, an independent author like myself. That said, on to the video. So in this video, I just want to talk about books that can help you out of a reading slump. I was in a reading slump very recently. I know how disheartening it can be when you're used to reading a lot of books and then suddenly you just can't get into a book. If you're like me and reading is part of your business in a way, then sometimes it just adds that extra element of pressure. Middle grade can often help. It's kind of taking you back to your childhood in a way, maybe an age when you used to read a lot more. Speaking from personal experience here. Another tip is to maybe read books that are they take place in already established worlds. And that can be from a TV series or a movie, anything like that. I think that's one reason why fan fiction is so popular, because it's a laid-back read. You can just immerse yourself in an already established world. Also, okay, you know what? Suggestion number 3, or tip number 3, don't be so hard on yourself if you can't get into a book. Maybe you just need to take a break. Maybe you just have so much on your plate that instead of reading, you need to get lost in a movie or a TV show or something like that. Don't be so hard on yourself if you can't get into a book. It will happen. So another tip is to try a different medium. If your eyes are too tired at the end of the day to physically read a book or an e-book or something like that, try an audiobook. I mean, it depends on the narrators, but there are some really phenomenal audiobooks out there, and I'm finding some fiction ones that even I love. And I'm hard to please with fiction audiobooks, so that's another tip. Oh, first of all, my birthday was a couple weeks ago, and this was a birthday gift that I got from my sister. Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. Very, very bad Stitch impersonation, but I love the movie, I love the mug. So let's get into it. These are like a mixture of middle grade, young adult, and adult. And I think there's a couple that could be considered children's or middle grade. Sci-fi, fantasy, sci-fi, and contemporary. So the first one is The Zero Chronicles. The first book in that series is Zero G. And it is such an adorable read. I loved this book. I listened to it on Audible, and it was just, I mean, the main character, the voice makes me think of Nemo every time I hear it. Nemo from Finding Nemo and Finding Dory. It's a fast-paced story. It's cute. It's fun. There's suspense. I read a review where it was called Home Alone in Space, and that is a very apt analogy. And I highly recommend that book. And it's free right now on Audible. Audible has a new thing in their Audible app or their Audible memberships. It's called Audible Plus. And you don't pay any extra, but you get all these extra free books and extra podcasts and things like that. With audiobooks, it does depend on the narrator as well. With Zero G and the Zero Chronicles, the narrator is magnificent, and the cast, it's a full cast read. The voice actors are amazing, in particularly the main character for Zero. I love this book. I can't recommend it enough, and it got me out of my reader slump. I was so happy. Okay, another recommendation I have is a book that you, I'm sure, heard of, and it's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And if you haven't read it before but you've seen the movie, then this would fall under my tip for reading a book that's in a world that's already been established in your mind. It's such a fun read. I mean, all of the Narnia Chronicles are fun reads, but this book holds a special place in my heart. It was the first book I read from the Narnia Chronicles, and I can never read it too much. Okay, the next books I suggest are also middle grade, The Hardy Boys. Now, Hardy Boys, this is New Case Files. So they update these, I feel like, with every generation. So these were from the 80s, when I was a kid and a teenager. And I love these books. I'm trying to recollect. I'm trying to build up my collection again. I remember I gave them away one Christmas to a children's hospital in Halifax, the IWK, but I miss them. I don't regret giving them away, but I miss them. So so far I have number 1, and I have number 2, and then I skipped ahead to number 28 because that took place in my hometown of Halifax, Nova Scotia. If you want to know more about that, you can click there. But it's an awesome book. I had so much fun reading that. Okay, so for young adult, I have a few suggestions as well. We have Ronnie Ackard and the Brotherhood of Blades by A.C. Williams. And it's such a fun read. This reminds me of, it makes me think of a cross between Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers. Now, I didn't watch a whole lot of Power Rangers. I'll admit that. I did watch Voltron growing up, and I guess it's sort of a little bit like that, but not really, because there's no robot lions that join together to form the Voltron robot thing. Defender of the Universe. That's it. There's no robot lions that join together to create the Defender of the Universe. So that's why I say Power Rangers. I've heard of Power Rangers, I've seen clips, and that's what this makes me think of. I mean, look at that guy. He looks like a Power Ranger, does he not? It's a great story. Focuses on Ronnie Ackard for this one. This is book 1. I think the next one focuses on Stan, another member of the group. There's a whole bunch of bromance in these stories, so if you like bromance, you're gonna love this book. And it's a fun read. It's a really fun read. They all have these special suits that protect them from injury, and there's these aliens coming through a portal or from another dimension attacking Earth. And I think, if I remember correctly, we can't see the aliens, but we see the damage that's done in their wake. Something like that. But we do see these guys, and they're defending us. The series, one of my favorites, Supernatural Nevermore. So in this book, Sam and Dean go to New York City, originally to deal with a haunted house, but then they end up getting drawn into a new case with these mysterious killings that are based on an Edgar Allan Poe story, or stories, plural possibly, but I remember really enjoying this. Again, characters are already created for you, you're just reading it like an episode of the show. Okay, so my next 2 suggestions are adult sci-fi. The first one is another book that helped me get out of my most recent reading slump, and that is Star Trek Next Generation Imzadi. It focuses on the romance, the history between Riker and Troy, Counselor Troy. If you've watched the series, again, this is another book that's in an already established world. And if you've watched the series, you know that Riker and Troy had a fling, or actually more like an epic romance, before Next Generation began. And this takes place pre-series, after series, and during series. It's a really good story. I really loved it. I finished it a little while ago, a week ago or a couple weeks ago, and it's still in my head. Like, I still think about it, and it got me watching the series again, which is awesome. Highly recommend this book as well. If you want to know more about this book, you can click here. If you know the series, if you know the characters, it will help you out of your reader's slump. Another book that takes place in an already established world, and it's adult sci-fi, Star Wars: Heir to the Empire. This takes place after the movies. It's about a Jedi Master who, the bad guy who takes over after the Emperor. Spoiler alert for Return of the Jedi. But the bad guy who takes over after the Emperor's death in Return of the Jedi, he finds out about this other Jedi Master who is nothing like Ben Kenobi and nothing like Yoda. He just thrives on power. And they bribe him to help them with their new plan to take over / destroy the universe by telling him, hey, you help us and we will hand deliver these 2 Jedis to you. And he was under the impression there were no other Jedis but him in the universe. So it has Luke, it has Leia, it has Han, Chewbacca, R2-D2, C-3PO, all of the main characters. I read this last summer. I read this actually originally like 20 years ago. Highly recommended. It's, like I said, it's already in an established world, so you already have the characters in your head. And I listened to it on audiobook this time, and the narration was really good, had sound effects and everything. The narrator was really good. Okay, so the next section, adult thriller suspense. You know I'm going to mention some Dean Koontz books here. So we've got Dean Koontz Lightning. This was the first Dean Koontz book I ever read. Highly recommend it. Awesome book. And it's got sci-fi, fantastical elements. It focuses on Laura Shane and starts with the night that she's born and then jumps throughout her lifetime to different focal points, important focal points for her life, and every time something dangerous is about to happen to her, this mysterious stranger shows up to save her, to help her. And before he shows up, each time before he shows up, there's a flash of lightning, hence the name. But I don't want to say anything more about it because it might ruin something in it for you. But I've read this multiple times, love it. Okay, so another Dean Koontz book is Fear Nothing. And then there's Seize the Night. Both awesome books. I've talked about them so many times on my channel. This is about Christopher Snow, who has a condition, a very rare condition called xeroderma pigmentosum. And it means that any kind of light, whether it's sunlight or light from a TV or computer or even a flashlight, lights from the ceiling, any kind of light can give him cancer. Normally people, if they are exposed to a little bit of this light, it doesn't affect them because their cells regenerate. In his case, he does not have, his cells do not have that regenerative power. So he has to stay away from all light. He can only walk around outside in the darkness. His house has to be in dim light at the best, but most of the time candlelight. He's actually writing the book, and it's his memoirs, so to speak. He's talking about these fantastical things that are happening in his town, the town he grew up in. People are changing. Really well done. Suspense and thriller, which is Dean Koontz's forte, but also with those fantastical elements again. And I just loved this book. And if you love animals in books, you're gonna love this. Especially if you love smart animals in books. Really fun. For you Christians out there, I recommend Turtles in the Road, which is a Christian romantic comedy by Kaylee Ray and Rhonda Ray. And Kaylee Ray has become one of my best friends ever. She actually bought me this t-shirt from my store for my birthday, along with a water bottle, which is downstairs right now, but I'll show you. Also from my store, Research is Fun, and a little silhouette of Asher, who is the one who coined that phrase in Good Samaritan. This is just such a fun read. You guys know me, I don't usually go for romantic comedies. I've told you this in many videos, but I also said there are exceptions, and this is the main book that I was thinking of as that exception. It is such a fun book. The main character of Piper, she's headstrong, stubborn, but fun to read and relatable. The male lead in the story, Jay, is also adorable, and you just wanna, yeah, you wanna date him. His best friend Kent is just so fun, and his wife is, you don't know what to think about her at first. Awesome read, awesome writing, and yeah, I'm not just saying that because Kaylee's one of my best friends. I recommended this book before we were best friends. The next couple of books, a couple of books from a series that I haven't read yet. I bought these in my book haul back in, was it July? I think it was July or August. And if you want to watch that video, you can click there. But my oldest niece and my sister highly recommend these for getting out of a reading slump, and I trust them. And it's Lemony Snicket, A Series of Unfortunate Events. So anyway, those are my recommendations for getting out of a reading slump. I hope they help you. I hope you do manage to get out of your reading slump. If you don't be so hard on yourself, please. It happens. and it's temporary. Okay, you will get out of it. These are suggestions to help you, but maybe all you need is some time. Anyway, that's what I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe below. Don't forget to click the bell so that you get notified when I upload new videos. I upload a new booktube video every Wednesday and a new authortube video every Friday. Thanks guys, have a great day. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. Bye-bye. If you enjoy my content, Suddenly I'm from New Jersey or something. If you enjoy my content, please consider liking and subscribing, as it's a completely free way for you to help support a small YouTuber. It's a completely free way for you. If you, is it Masters of the Universe? That was He-Man. What was Voltron? Defender of the Universe. And it focuses on the history between Riker. I don't know why I always pause in between words like Captain Kirk.
Calm your